Good morning, class. I am teacher Roxanne, a pre-service teacher taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Science. So for today, we will going to discuss the identifying and controlling variables.
But before we start with our discussion, let's be guided with our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the student will be able to first, define and identify the three types of variables in scientific experiment, the independent, dependent, and controlled. Second, design and build a paper airplane using a specific folding technique and present their experimental data and conclusions. And last, show enthusiasm and engagement in participating in the activity and working collaboratively with their peers. So, when we say variable class, it is any factor that can be changed or controlled in an experiment. It's something we can measure or observe. Let's use an example. Imagine we're studying the growth of a sunflowers. The things that might affect how tall a sunflower grows, like the amount of sunlight it gets, the amount of water it receives, and the type of soil it's planted is what we call variable class. Now, in science experiment, we categorize variable into three types: the independent, dependent, and controlled. Let's discuss first what is independent variable. So the independent variable class is what we change or manipulate in the experiment. It's the factor we are testing. In our example a while ago in the sunflower experiment, let's say we want to see how the amount of water affects the sunflower height. So the amount of water will be our independent variable there class. We're controlling how much water a sunflower gets. Now, let's discuss next what is dependent variable. The dependent variable is what we measure or observe. It's the factor that depends on the independent variable class. In independent variables, in our given example, the amount of water is our independent variable there. Here in dependent variables, this is what would we measure to say the effect of the water amount on our sunflowers. So, the height of the sunflower is our dependent variable here class. We'll measure the height of each sunflower to see if different amounts of water lead to different heights. The heights depends on the amount of water it gets. That's our dependent variable class. Remember that it depends on our independent variable. Finally, let's discuss what is controlled variable. The controlled variables are all the factors we keep the same throughout the experiment. This makes sure that only the independent variable is affecting the dependent variable. In our sunflower experiment, the things we need to keep the same for all our sunflowers are the type of the sunflower seeds, the type of soil, and the amount of sunlight. We need to use the same type of sunflower seeds, plant them in the same type of soil, and make sure they all get the same amount of sunlight. If we don't control these factors, we can't be sure that differences in height are only due to the amount of water. So to recap in our sunflower experiment, the amount of water is the independent variable, the height of the sunflower is our dependent variable, and the things like the type of seeds, soil, and sunlight are our controlled variables. That's the end of my discussion, and I hope that you learned something from me. Thank you and God bless.